All right, everyone, welcome back to Get Nisty, the podcast that breaks compliance out of the checkbox trap and turns it into a real security advantage. No fluff, no FUD, just practical strategies to make compliance work for your MSP. I'm Jared Kasner. Mike's not here with me today, but we wanted to bring you something special this week. One of the questions that comes up over and over again from MSPs is, how do I sell compliance? And a lot of MSPs are making the same mistakes. So I gave a talk about this at ChannelPro Chicago just a couple months ago. And so we're bringing that into your feed this week. Now, I will warn you, there are some slides that are associated with this. So if you're a visual person, you might want to tune into this episode on Spotify so you get a chance to view the talk as well as listen to it. But the strategies work whether you're watching or listening. So feel free to listen along if that's your normal way of doing things. With that, let me turn this over to myself from ChannelPro Chicago in May of 2026.
All right. Our next speaker, also winning Best Dressed for the morning, is Blacksmith InfoSec. Please, a big Chicago round of applause for Blacksmith InfoSec.
Good morning, everybody. How are we all feeling after last night? I see a lot of very tired eyes. I think a lot of you were out at the bar pretty late last night. I know I was out later than I probably should have been, so we're going to just bear with me here as we go through this. Today we're going to talk about sales, right? I know we're talking about compliance and compliance is sales, but compliance is really kind of the subset of this. Really what we're talking about today is sales. Because at the end of the day, what you need to be able to do is not just deliver something. You guys all understand what compliance is. Henry and Corey gave a great talk about frameworks and things like that earlier. You understand what compliance is and why it's important. Some of your clients even understand that too, but selling it and selling the value of it is something that is really hard for a lot of you. It's hard for a lot of us also. So there's really two common mistakes that we see when we talk about selling compliance and compliance services. First one is selling with FUD, whether that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or Elmer. Either way, you're going to have a hard time. Whoever sells with the best ghost story is going to win that battle. And so that's kind of the first common mistake that we see is selling with FUD. And the second one is selling your feature set, right? If you're in there trying to tell all of the different things that you can do, your clients are going to look at you, their eyes are going to glaze over, they're going to very quickly be looking at their watch, wondering how quickly you're going to get out of that room. But don't worry, there is a better way, right? We're talking about the things that your clients care about. They're looking for lower risk. They want to see clear visibility into progress. The ones that do have regulatory requirements are going to be concerned about better audit readiness and making sure that they're ready to go for their audits. And then every one of them, I can almost guarantee you, is looking for lower total cost of ownership. How do I reduce the cost? I mean, show of hands here. How many of your clients want to spend more money with you? One wants to spend more money. Look at that. Everybody come talk to this guy. He knows what's up. Right? They're all looking for lower total cost of ownership. And so what you need to be doing is selling these benefits of your cybersecurity program and the services that you're offering in order to make your clients' lives easier. Here we go. All right. Corey and Henry kind of set me up perfectly for this morning. One does not simply address risk without having a good framework, right? Whether you're talking about one of the regulatory frameworks or something like CIS or NIST CSF, having that framework gives you the tools to be able to talk about risk. And even if you're just talking about risk mitigation as here's how many controls are closed out, look at that number of controls closed, reduces risk, this is great. If you can get a risk register, and Henry talked about that earlier, right? Having that risk register is a great way of approaching those risk-based conversations. But using the framework as a mechanism or a tool to talk about risk is a great way of doing it. And the flip side of that is watching the progress, right? So as progress goes up, risk goes down. Those two things are very strongly correlated. And this gives you a great tool when you're going into your QBRs and having those account management conversations, because as we all know, it is much easier to sell new services into your existing client base than it is to sell or add a new logo, right? So when you can show the progress over time and show them the value that you're bringing, none of your clients care about how many tickets you closed in the last 90 days. What they care about is the progress and the risk reduction and things that you are doing to help improve their business. For those of you with regulated clients, audits are coming. If your clients are not regulated today, they will be soon. There are more regulatory frameworks coming out at the state level, at the federal level. So getting the security program in place today starts preparing your clients for those audits when they come. And really, compliance kind of comes down to three things. And again, Henry, Corey, I could not thank you enough for the setup that you gave me this morning, right? Compliance really comes down to three things. It's say it, which is having your policies and knowing what you're doing it, which is the actual execution, and then as Corey said earlier, you have to be able to prove it. And that's what the audit comes in, is now you've already collected all of the evidence. Here's the binder of evidence that you need to give to an auditor to make sure that they're ready to go, right? So being ready for that audit and audit preparation is really important. So let's talk about the reduced risk, right? We're all going thrift shopping here. How are we going to or reduce cost? Excuse me. So the lower total cost of ownership is something that, again, those security frameworks are going to help you offer to your clients. Why? The first one is the value of compounding. A risk program, a risk management framework, cybersecurity framework, these things all are essentially like a 401k. If you start investing early in the business and making those small investments, and you get your clients to adopt good security practices and good security hygiene, when the new threat comes out, when something new comes along, your clients already understand how to respond because they've been trained along the way to do the right thing. And so having that compounding value over time really helps reduce or drive down the total cost of ownership. But there's more, right? One of our MSP partners was able to reduce their cyber insurance costs, their cyber insurance premiums by 5 figures by adopting risk management frameworks and getting SOC 2 certified and having a good, I think they also added GTI Trustmark to their list. But using that, they were able to go in and demonstrate to their cyber insurance provider that they had a good security hygiene in place, and that reduced their insurance premiums by a ton. And now that also can trickle down to their clients, because as their clients start adopting risk management frameworks and security frameworks, it's going to help drive down. Now, your clients almost certainly are not going to be driving down their cyber insurance costs by 5 figures. That would be a lot for one of your clients, but helping reduce the premiums is a great way to go. And then the third way that we see this playing out, there are 7 states now that offer cyber safe haven laws, meaning in the event of an incident, if you can prove in those 7 states, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but Ohio was the first one. I know Texas, there's a handful of others that are out there. In those states, if you get popped and you can prove that you are aligned to NIST CSF or ISO or one of the security frameworks out there, you can actually limit your liability in the event from lawsuits and things like that, right? So again, the total cost of ownership, there are carrots that come along with this. And so looking at the value that you can bring by adopting a security framework is a great way of addressing this and helping drive some sales. All right, so 3 quick lessons that we're going to talk about today. First one, Ronnie and Brad and Kelly talked about this a little bit yesterday. Don't sell the whole mountain, sell the first step, right? Again, if you're trying to sell the 150 controls in a security framework, or even the 56 controls in CIS implementation group 1, your clients are going to look at you and say, eyes are going to pop out of their heads, they're not going to know what to do, right? So start small, find that wedge, the thing that they need, and start expanding from there. Lesson number 2, don't price compliance like a project if you have to deliver it like a practice. Compliance is not a destination. It's not an endpoint. There's not a thing that happens that says, okay, I'm done and I can move on with my life. I've checked that box. Now, right? It's a lifelong journey. Once you decide to go down that road, you are always thinking about what's next. You're always collecting the evidence, renewing the evidence, refreshing the evidence, making sure that you have done all the things and are continuing to do those things. And so because that's a practice, because it's something that you're doing consistently and continuously, you can't price it like it's a one-time project. And then lesson number 3 for today, compliance does not just create revenue, it creates the context for more revenue. What do I mean by that? Again, if you've got, let's call it, even if it's just the 56 controls in implementation group 1, you've adopted 6 of them with to start with. Now there's 50 more controls that create the context as you're going in and having those ongoing conversations with your clients to help you move that ball forward and continue that conversation and continue to expand things, right? Some of those controls are going to require new tools for your clients. Guess what? There's a new source of revenue. So each of these different things creates the context for more. Now, obviously, with only 10 minutes today, I couldn't possibly get through everything that I wanted to cover when it comes to selling security and compliance. We wrote a book on it. One of our gifts to all of you is that I'm going to be sending you a link and a $10 gift card to Amazon so you can go out and buy a copy of this. Please stop by our booth later so you can make sure that we've got the right email address for you, because that's how we're going to deliver this. So free book on us on how to sell security and compliance. It also talks about some of the different frameworks and what those are and the value of those. But wait, that's not all. So again, stop by our booth if you have any questions or want to talk to us about security, compliance sales. That middle QR code there is booking a demo with us, or really honestly, if you just want to have a conversation and talk to us, we like to talk. I like the sound of my own voice, so please come by and talk to me. That one, I do have to ask for your email address because I have no way of sending a calendar invite if you don't put your email address in there. But the QR code on the end, that free risk assessment tool, no email address required. It's free, it's open source, it's a 20-question risk assessment. It's a great sales tool. We do a very lightweight external network scan. So it's external, it's very lightweight, it's not very in-depth, but it's free. Everybody can use it. It's open source. You can either use the one that's available on the live on the internet, or clone the GitHub repo and modify it to your heart's content. Again, no email gate needed there. It's all free and publicly available. So those are our gifts to you. And with that, thank you very much.